Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is a roster update video, and I just got back from a period of traveling, which is why we were a little light on videos, and we are on the eve of an election, so I am not prepared to go through any of this, but our general structure here, we'll be looking at any marquees or active farms that are going on, the major project progress towards Baylan, Skoll, and GL Ahsoka. We do have some updates with the requirements, so we'll be able to make some changes. Crons, we do have a new Cron set. We'll do a little bit of work with that, but because I just got back, my knowledge base on that is pretty thin. We'll see how it goes, and then we will address any other weaknesses or roster improvements. Our current active farms, we have Judge Death here. I'm at about 80 out of 100. We'll probably be done in a week. Captain Enoch will get to 6 stars in a week, but right now, the Great Mothers, this is where we made a good amount of progress. We got a very nice node on Cantina, so we'll be able to crush this within about 2.5 weeks. Like, these are I haven't done the math in a while. I think it's like 14 to 20 days, something like that. We already have her to 5 stars. I'm feeling pretty loose on Kairos today. Like, I do need a lot of Cairo prods. I'm pretty good on the Cairo computers. We'll just leave it off for now. The rest of this, I believe I'm happy with, because that's Territory Wars. Now, I have been happy with Morgan at 5. I'm going to leave her at 5 for another week, just so we can see how the additional stars on Great Mother affects that, plus see what 3v3 is going to do for everything. Grand Admiral Thrawn, we need to bring further, but we're just going to ignore him right now. That's not really going to affect our matches. Night Trooper, do I want to put any of these on? I don't really care if you have a huge health pool. I think we're going to be satisfied. What I do want to touch on right now is make a few changes here. One, we know Fulcrum is a requirement. I've been wanting to take her up to relics anyway for the Seer Junda team. Now we have our perfect excuse. This character has a prod finisher. Looks like we are dealing with hollow lenses and the keypad, which is pretty easy stuff. We'll take her up to signal data is the only thing I'm worried about, so I do want to be a little careful here. We'll do relic 3 so that we can use crowns, although I don't really want to make too much of a priority of this, just because I don't think we're really going to use her in a 3v3 context. But let's do it now so I don't forget about it later, because probably the type of thing I'd forget about. So Relic 3 is good for now, good for this 3v3 season. Might push her a little bit further later. What I do want to do is snips, because I would like to have snips higher. We're not going to go to Relic 9 right now. I technically could. I have a lot of the materials. It's just the signal data again. We got to be careful until we're in a position where we can start actively farming these things. But I do want her a little bit higher for territory battles. I do need a deeper pool of Jedi, which is actually a good reason to take her even further. How am I feeling? We're not going to do Relic 9 right now, but I will do Relic 8. That'll be fine. We have the materials for Relic 9. You can see here with the droid brains and the keypads, but we're going to hold off. And then, we'll take Rex to 7. I'm going to be getting Baylan Skoll first. That's part of the reason. I don't want to go too crazy on the signal data here. Most of this is going to go towards that project, because this GL Ahsoka, we are still quite a ways away from. But you can see with our friend Baylan here, we're going to be able to qualify for this once Merrick and Shin Hati become farmable. It's going to be a month and a half from there. So we will be done with both Hati and Merrick, regardless of where they end up before like Jedi Sabine becomes available. That's not how I meant to say it. Before we are done farming Jedi Sabine, we will have been Baylan Skoll qualified. So that to me is the shortest route to a bigger impact on my roster. So that's where we're going. Always how I want to approach these things. Do the quicker, easiest thing first so that we start seeing a bigger impact. Although, because of the assault battle, I will be trying to push the Imperial Remnant requirements from GL Ahsoka pretty quickly as well, because we are going to want to take them up to Relic 7 and then Relic 9 to take advantage. Now we are still waiting to see if we're going to get what those additional Ahsoka requirements are going to be. We're just going to take it easy for the rest of this. I think I'm satisfied with where we're at. With the Datacrons, we don't have a ton of materials. I was really bad with farming and making progress while I was traveling. anything. Right now we do have T3M4. That is one I can't even take advantage of. And if I could re-roll it, I would. But we'll have to wait after Territory Wars. I'm just too far away from utilizing this squad. I actually like T3 as a character. Now in terms of materials, I think for the moment I can only do one. Maybe we'll be able to get some more materials after refresh later to add an additional cron. I just don't know with my workday tomorrow if that's going to be happening. At least my ability to record it. We might be able to make it happen. Alright, mercenary characters, we're just going to keep going. I've got plenty of credits. It's just whatever that piece is called. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to spend the crystals and grab that. Alright, so we'll unlock this last one. It cost me 200 crystals, but whatever. And what do we get? Shinhati. So we're not going to reroll that one. We do want it. We just won't be able to take advantage of it for about 2 months. In the next 3v3 we'll be able to use it, but it's still one of my targets. Oh, you know that we can talk about that. Even though I haven't put out the video for it, I did organize how I'm approaching these crons. You can see this set is very friendly towards late game accounts. Most of these other characters that I don't have at relics already, these are not crons that I'm particularly interested in. The Carthonasi one's actually pretty good. Some of these other ones are good, but the squads are further away, and I don't care if I don't get them. It's not going to be consequential. Whereas all these other ones, these are crons that I'm going to go after and I'll be able to utilize to one extent or another. This does not reflect like a ranking or anything. These are just what I can utilize immediately, and this is just what my roster can absorb quickly, and just separating them between those unaligned force users and those mercenary characters. Now I'm feeling a little crazy right now. No, you know what? This is just because I'm tired. What I was considering for a moment was, now that we have Fulcrum, we could do Cal Kestis. Cal Kestis does make more sense for me in 3v3, but it's the signal data. I just don't want to do it. And how am I doing on... You know what? I didn't show the context. Maybe we'll splice it in. I'll show it right now. Here is the current status of the Horde. And you can see we're in a pretty good place. Now, oh, that reminds me, I did promise something to my guild. Although, I don't need to do it yet. We don't have TBs coming up for another week. We got time. So, I am going to add Relic 8 Admiral Trench. I said I would help out with platoons on that. There are certain platoon characters I like to volunteer for, and conquest characters, I'm always happy to take them a little bit higher. I'm hoping we see Sign of Django payout for the mercenaries. I know we probably have some footage of testing from Arnold and others who have been exploring that. I have not been able to look at anything yet, so I have no idea. Now, this column is also looking at Ezra and Exile. This is everything for Baylan's Skoll, including Baylan. Now that we have that information, I would put that in here. And you can see my deficits are really just signal data, where we need basically 1,000 of everything. And then there's a couple here of the Gear 12 pieces now, particularly the bronzium wiring. I have now joined the community in not having a lot of these. For a long time, I just was not concerned about this. We no longer have that luxury. And then we have this Electrium conductor. That's not a huge deal. And then keypads. This will also not a huge deal. And crystals these days have been pretty good. Then Kairos are the only thing we're working on. All the other Gear 12 pieces for all of these different projects, we're good. What I'm working on right now is building up each of these so that as any new requirement becomes available, we don't really go negative on any of my gear pieces. We're just building up these hordes, and right now you can see we're at triple digits on almost everything with our surplus, except for the Mark 12 fusion furnace. That's a tough one to keep up with. But what that does tell me is this piece here, we can at least throw this on, whatever. We'll hold off on everything else, and I think we're going to wrap it up there for today. This is going to be a quick one. There's too much going on right now to think about this. I've definitely eased up on the game in the past 2 weeks. But we'll wrap it up there. You don't need to worry about me stopping playing or anything. Just sometimes if the workload and other things becomes a lot, I'll just slow down. I don't need to keep up the pace. I don't want to get burnt out. I want to avoid that. We're here for the long haul. And if that means downshifting, we'll downshift. But thank you for watching. Be excellent to each other, everybody. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.